Hey Internet, it's RJ. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning into this show today. Now today is Sunday, so you know what that means. We're going around the net with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. And on the docket for today, we have a few interesting stories. Of course, we will check in with Chase and their 5X categories to start your new year off right. We have Capital One removing some lounge access, sadly, from a few of their cards. IHG is looking for a lot more money from their credit card partnership with Chase. And of course, we have the Apple Card yet again. This time we have the American Express boss being asked about it and kind of sort of saying they're not interested, but still maybe. So of course we will squeeze this story for all it's worth. So of course, if that sounds interesting to you, go ahead, press the subscribe button, and let's get to work. Now, as always, we will lead off with Chase and the 5X categories. It's always a fun time to see what Chase has in store for us. And this go around for the new year, we're going to have gym memberships, we're going to have grocery stores, we're going to have health and spa services as your 5X categories. Now, of course, remember from the press release, they go into detail about it, but again, most things count. It is even worth noting they are throwing Instacart into the grocery category. If that helps you out, great. Now overall, anytime we have groceries, I think it's fine. It's an easy enough one. I don't think we need to spend too much time on a strategy. Groceries is the one where you can probably do the most organic spend and easily hit that, because again, it is $1,500 in combined purchases across the categories, and that is per card. Of course, you do have to activate these categories, per Freedom card that you have. Again, OG Freedom and Freedom Flex, so you can do that now through the app or the portal. So just remember to do that. But overall, I think groceries is a nice play. Again, grocery stores sell gift cards, so everyone should be fine this go around. But of course, feel free to complain down below, because you can never make everyone happy with these categories. So that is Chase. Now, Capital One is next up in the news, and Capital One is in the news because they've been hard at work building out their lounge access or their lounge network. But as soon as they open a new lounge, they take away. They are taking away access to Capital One and Plaza Premium lounges for their Venture and Spark Miles card line. So here's what we have. This was found by Frequent Miler. They kind of snuck it in there, but effective January 1st, 2025, Venture and Spark Miles cardholders will no longer receive complimentary lounge access. You will have 2 complimentary visits to Capital One lounges or Plaza Premium lounges to use by December 31st of 2024, so basically a year from now. Venture and Spark Miles cardholders can access Capital One lounges at a special rate of $45 for themselves and their guests. Of course, if you're not a Capital One customer with those cards, then you're looking at $65 to get in. I think that's what I paid when I went out to see the DFW lounge, probably 2 years ago now, to do a video on it. So overall, again, those cards, the Venture and the Spark Miles, they got 2 passes per year. You're still going to have them through 2024, then they're going away. It's kind of a big deal, but not a big deal. I think it just really helps save some cards that were terrible. There's no really other way to put it. The $95 space for the Venture, there's just not a lot there. But the 2 passes, that kind of helped. Again, it was 2 passes that you could either use a Capital One or Plaza Premium. So, they're just killing it all together. I think it's a few different things. One, they've seen the issues that other lounges have, other lounge networks have with overcrowding. So might as well just get in front of it now and slow it down, push people up to the Venture X and Venture X Business, which still come with unlimited access. The other thing is it could be a little bit of a cost savings because, if you're Capital One, I don't know why you would care that Plaza Premium is overcrowded. That's their problem, not your problem, but you probably don't want to even pay for that. So might as well just kill the passes altogether. The other thing is you look across the board in this $95 price tier the Venture operated in. There's not a lot of cards that give lounge access anymore in that space. Some do Priority Pass, yes, but to their own proprietary lounge network, the $95 Delta Gold card doesn't get you in. The Sapphire Preferred doesn't get you into the Sapphire Lounge. So, in that price point, I don't think it's really, necessary in their point of view, so might as well just get rid of it. And I guess I would rather them do this than start to nerf or chip away the Venture X, which I still think is coming. Could this be a sign of things to come? Probably. I think they're probably just trying to start small, see if they can force some people up. And again, the Venture X and Venture X Business is a good card. We have both of those on profitablecontent.com for those interested who still want to get lounge access. So it does suck to see. I really do think it hurts the Venture cards a ton because those really need a refresh. I don't really know what you can really recommend those for, who you can recommend those to, really, given all the other options in the $95 price tier. So, if you are a Venture card holder or a Spark Miles, let us know. How much does this bum you out? Again, on one hand, it was only 2 passes, but still hurts. Would this push you up to the next tier, or would you just, move on to another card system? Love to get your thoughts on that. And speaking of card systems, we have IHG in the news. Now, IHG is likely seeing all the money being thrown around that these airline card partnerships get, especially Delta, who's been in the news a lot lately. And they want some of it. So the IHG boss sat down and was doing an interview, and we got some interesting quotes on his thoughts and his targeting for the IHG card partnership, which of course is with Chase right now, and that runs through 2025. So this comes to us from a site called Skift. They have the full interview. I think we linked it for you at profitable.com, but some points that they had. So today, the hotel group, again IHG, they generate approximately $100 million a year from credit card revenue, just having that partnership, yearly fees and things like that. Now today, only 2/3 of the credit card fee money goes to owners. About 1/3 goes to the profit and loss sheet, which is pretty nice. Now the other words, the better way to explain that is, they make a lot of money without a lot of investment, really, because it's like marketing expenses, so it's really mostly profit that they get back. So again, the Chase IHG deal runs through 2025. And the IHG boss is aiming to, he said, negotiate a much better deal or rebid, which could mean, go somewhere else. He's citing things like we're going to have increased members and better properties and things like that, which should make us more appealing. I mean, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I really, when I read it, I think it's more of like, the hotel cards are not nearly as lucrative, the partnerships, as the airlines. All 3 of the major airlines, like United, Delta, American, they're like multi-billion dollars that these partnerships are generating, and I think Marriott and Hilton don't disclose, but the analysts in the article said it's around, maybe they're guessing around $400 million in partnerships. So IHG wants more money, and so the real question is, if you want more money, well, what can you do? Well, I think the airline cards win because, one, airlines flights tend to be perceived as more expensive, and they generally are, because again, there's a wide range of hotels that you can stay at, versus airline seats. Even economy from Detroit to Miami is going to run you like $500-$600, in the middle of winter. But I think they have a really good value prop at the $95 tier, which is the check bag free. The check bag free kind of makes all these cards at the $95 tier a layup if you like to check bags. One there and back run, and that card's paid for itself. I know they have other features like early boarding, but early boarding, main cabin 1 boarding is nothing. Everyone rushes the gate as soon as they're done with like Sky Priority, because you want the overhead spot for your bag because you're not checking a bag. So I think that's really it. Like, airline cards are much easier to sell. And yes, hotel cards have, the anniversary night and things like that, but I don't think it's moves the needle as much as, hey, free check back. So I think they could easily, kind of add on, if you have a hotel card, maybe parking fees. If there's a hotel that charges parking fees, maybe that gets waived with a certain credit card. Or resort fees would be a big one. Can you get a reduction in resort fees? Because those resort fees always seem like a massive ripoff to many people. And then I still, to this day, I miss the Hilton breakfast deal. I know they have a food and beverage credit, but there are some easier things you could potentially tie into having a card, like how airlines, in my opinion, do with the check bag being like their anchor fee, right? And sure, the credit for a free night is nice, but it's much easier. I think people, for whatever reason, are much more comfortable just desk drawing, sock drawing hotel cards, as well as airline cards. And when I look around, I see those in use a lot more. I think it's just, the perception of, I can get more out of airline miles, whether that's true or not. I know the value of IHG miles and the value of all these hotel points, I should say, isn't really that high compared to, Delta, again's 1.2 cents, Marriott, I think it's around 0.8, Hilton's 0.7. I don't think the average person cares about that. I really don't think the average person knows, but you could also, fully embrace points culture to a degree and just maybe hire a small content division of folks who travel around to IHG properties, showcasing them and showing exactly how they did the redemption with the IHG cards. Maybe you don't talk about churning and things like that, but, why not? It's not that big of a secret. You could do things like that, may get the cards in more people's hands. The cards themselves, I think, are fine, but Again, it's really just I don't see people using them that much versus airline cards in day-to-day spending. And I do think they'll end up re-upping with Chase. I think, yeah, sure, Chase probably give them a few extra dollars. And then, because again, they make the cards more useful. That benefits Chase as well. So, why would they be against that? So I do think they re-up. He's just kind of, I think, pre-negotiating, posturing, if you will. But again, if you're an IHG faithful, let me know what you think about their cards and what you would need to see to use them more to help get them more revenue off of the cards. Now, back to Apple. We're going for the third week in a row. I mean, if you saw the headline, then you knew I was going to want to talk about it. We're going to squeeze the story for everything that we can. So again, the recap here is Apple has finally told Goldman Sachs, fine, after all their complaining, we will release you from the contract that was supposed to run through, I think, 2029, something like that. But it's going to be up to us, and we're going to do it in like 15 to 18 months, give or take. So, last week we had Mark Gurman, who's a Bloomberg reporter, frequenter of like Mac rumors, saying, hey, Chase is probably the front runner because of, the existing partnerships. Well, now we have the American Express boss who was at a conference or was interviewed, and he didn't directly say no to the Apple Card, but of course they're asking questions on the lines of, partnerships. And well, here's what he had to say, then we'll talk about it. So we pull this up. I believe this is from 9 to 5 Mac, so a few quotes. He says, hey, when we look at co-branded partnerships, and we have over 50 co-branded partnerships, we must be talking about like all the Amex offers and things like that. You're really looking for 1 + 1 = 3. Now, of course, he did not name the Apple Card specifically there. So again, he went on to say that there need to be great value propositions for American Express when there's a partnership like there would have to be for Apple Card. Reportedly, a bigger consideration for Amex is premium customer targeting. He didn't say that. That's just what people are kind of thinking. And because that's what you want, a co-branded partnership, it's the distribution as well as the type of customer, right? He goes on to call it, does it bring value for both brands, and do you create premium economics? So as well, we evaluate partnerships. That's the lens that we use. So again, he's not really saying outright no. He's not really naming the Apple Card, nor would you expect him to. But he's saying like, look, 1 + 1 = 3, which is a bit of a cliche. But again, given everything we know about the Apple deal with Goldman Sachs, there's not much upside in it for the lender, except for the fact that you get to say you have the Apple Card. And for someone like Goldman, who's trying to upstart their regular people banking business, as I call it, well, that's pretty cool. For someone like American Express, but I'm already American Express. I'm fine. That doesn't help me out any, really. For the brand perspective, again, yes, I understand why people gravitate towards it, because Apple and American Express are both fake luxury brands. I like Apple. I don't care for American Express a ton, but they're both fake luxury brands. It's a credit card company. It's a payment processor. It's not that luxurious. Apple does a really good job of packaging and things like that. I wouldn't call an iPhone a luxury by any means. There are better phones, more feature-packed phones. Do I happen to like them? Yes, but it's not a luxury brand. They just think they are. They like to have that perception, and fine, they earn that perception, but that's like the only thing they really have in common. I think the American Express is like, I see it like, if your neighbor lists their house for sale, of course you look at the pictures, do you not? You're not going to buy it, but if someone brings you the portfolio, like, you want to take a look? Sure, I'll take a look, sign the NDA, whatever. I'll take a look, because why not? There's a division, I'm sure, of the American Express whose job is to vet these things and see if there's anything there. So again, I still don't think it's going to be there. Again, I don't think he was outright naming naming Apple. It is interesting to see, like, what do they do? Does that American Express see Apple consumers the same way that Apple does? Because again, on one hand, you could say Apple consumers are this premium economics deal because they spend so much, sure, but they were also letting everyone in, and the Apple Card, again, is a way to slightly diversify revenue and mostly to sell iPhones, because it solves the problem of financing. You get the Apple Card, it's another way to lock in, it's another way to move merch. That's really what it is. So when you could argue again the same thing with American Express card. Sure, the Platinum Card seems so luxurious, but they give it to a lot of people, and the thing that really matters is your purchasing power, not necessarily that you got approved for the card. And I think the Apple Card is the exact same way. So again, I don't think they're going to do a deal with American Express. These quotes I wouldn't say this is finalized, but I mean, he knows what they're asking about. So, I don't think we'd want them to do a deal with American Express because American Express caps their 3% cards. They cap their 2% business card at $50K in spend, and they won't make a regular 2% card. So I don't see why this would be a better deal for any of them involved. Again, the brands just on the surface, it seems like a decent match, but we've talked about all this before, but again, I do like this story. So anyways, guys, that has been the news for this week. So of course, if you liked it, drop me a thumbs up down below. If you found it particularly interesting, consider subscribing to the channel as we're posting content just like this every single week. And of course, we're right back here every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance, as well as every single day over on profitablecontent.com, the channel's blog, which is always linked down below for you, and on the homepage where we have not only the latest news stories, we have bank promotions, and we have credit card offers. So if you want a new way into the Capital One lounges, well, we've got that, the Venture X and Venture X Business. Of course, we have the Chase offers as well for the $900 8 cards and the Freedom Unlimited double cash offer while it's still going on. Anyways, guys, that's been the news. So as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you very soon this week.